Postpartum, one of the hardest topics I find that a lot of moms don't want to talk about. And it's because the baby is here. What do you do after when the baby is here? There's so many expectations. How does it affect you? How does it affect your family? How does it affect your daily life? And so I'll start off with, how did it affect me? It affected me a lot. I didn't know I was sad at times. I didn't know that I was angry at times. There's a lot of emotions that you go through that you did not think that you were going to be going through. And so with postpartum, there's depression, there's anxiety. You feel overwhelmed. Let's talk about the exhaustion. The fact that sleepless nights, getting up every 2 hours or an hour to feed the baby, and sometimes the baby's not even getting enough breast milk, so you're gonna have to supplement it with formula. So going downstairs, making that bottle, burping the baby, then changing a diaper, putting the baby back to bed to only have the baby wake up again. It's a lot balancing mom and wife roles at the same time. I know it was a lot for me. I didn't have anxiety. I just felt like I was just going nonstop, going every day, every hour. Not to say that I didn't have the support. My husband was there, but I just felt like I was just a train wreck. It was like so foggy, to be honest, because I was operating out of like little sleep, and at times I wasn't even eating, which is bad because it wasn't producing enough milk. So you had to have that balance of taking care of yourself. And so we'll go into expectations, because now that the baby's out, my baby's still in, my belly looks awesome, but when the baby's gone, I'm left with the skin, I'm left with the fat. And so it's like, how does your body look after birth? What is the expectations of your body type? How should it look? We always hear about the snatch back or the snap back kind of thing, or the bounce back. There's so many terminologies to label how your body is supposed to look after pregnancy. Girl, you just gave life. You just carried either 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever babies. For me, it was back to back. Give yourself time. Yes, you can, like the Africans, they bun up their belly, or they get, you get that nice weight loss trainer thing. I understand, like, we have this image that we need to portray. I would say a facade that we portray that, we're that mom, we got it all together. But you're not doing anyone any good. You're not doing yourself good by thinking that you're portraying this whole like imaginary body type of a figure. Give yourself time. It took me a lot to understand, like, I'm a dancer and I have expectations of how my body's supposed to look, but I had to realize, like, Kenna, you just gave birth back to back, so it's okay that if you have a little bit of flab, it's okay if you have a little bit of fat hanging off on the sides. It's okay, you're a mom. Like, that's why you married your husband, again, through thick and thin, through ups and downs. Like, he's there to love you, and that's the only thing that should matter, that you love yourself and your husband loves you. I wanted to talk about breastfeeding. Again, breastfeeding helps a lot with, postpartum as well. It helps, they say it's supposed to contractions of bringing in the belly and so forth. I don't know, but breastfeeding for me was a lot, like I said in that story. It was the stripped nipples for me, because my son, again, or both sons were piranhas, because they both stayed on very long. One was 13 months, the other one was 15 months. If I didn't go to Dominican Republic that 1 year for Aaron and come back, I think he would be still breastfeeding, because that kid was so attached to me, still is to this day. But give yourself time. I want to talk about even the beginning stages of breastfeeding. Some people, I know the nurses are kind of harsh in the hospital. There is resources for you, clinics, that after, you've given birth, you can go if you don't know how to do the latching properly, which is having the full labia and the nipples inside the baby's mouth, so they can get a solid grip. It hurts. I ain't gonna lie to you, it hurts. But after a while, like your nipple gets conditioned and you somewhat get used to it that, you just pop it out and you just go. But at first, I'm going to be honest, your first time mom, you're like, oh my God, I'm never doing this again. Get me the Dr. Brown's bottles, and so I can start feeding my child from the bottle, because this is, I'm going to either pump and whatever. But yeah, you'll get used to it. I would say during breastfeeding, pumping, pump and breastfeed, because this will help the flow of the milk, of the letdown, to allow it to keep coming down all the time, so you can have storage and also transition your baby to the bottles, so they're not breastfeeding all the time, so that you can now go out and do some self-care time, that you can be away for 4 hours and 6 hours, and then look at that, you can be away for the whole entire night because you've been breastfeeding and storing your breast milk in the freezer. There is a shelf time when you put it in the fridge, so you can get those breast milk bags and put them in the freezer, write the dates on them, and they just put them in hot water to dissolve, and then that's it. Some people add formula to it. I used to do that too, so it can hold them longer. But there's a lot of tactics that you can do for breastfeeding. So don't think that you're going to breastfeed for forever. It's not forever. It's just a certain time that you can now switch over to, the foods. I do the fruit purees and the vegetable purees and stuff like that. So over time, don't worry, it gets better. And lastly, I'll just talk about, for postpartum, again, services. A lot of people don't think that there's services out there for new moms that are going through transitioning from the single lifehood into having children, or having a child, and then after having the child. There is still services for you within your region. I know I reached out to some of my friends that previously had children to say, like, hey, I'm struggling with this. I feel like I'm always crying and I'm emotional, which, if anybody knows me, I'm not emotional. So they said it's okay, Key. Like, if you feel like you need to cry sometimes, cry. If you needed to, let out some anger, let out some anger. You're going through a lot. Your body has gone through a lot, right? Even for me, it was like the episiotomy, like I said. A lot of people don't understand, like, being cut from there to there and not being able to sit on your whole entire bum, it hurts. And so one of the resources that I use, I went on Amazon and I got a sitz bath, and I put herbal and salt and eucalyptus oil in it, and I put it over the toilet, got some hot water, sat down, and as hot as you can go, as long as you can go, and I just soaked. It was harsh. Did it burn a little bit? Yes, it did, but it helped to clear out all the old blood clots and stuff like that was in there. So there's ways that you can take care of yourself down there, that I feel like, going into this last segment, I'll just say this, is a lot of people question, like, what is my lady parts gonna look like down there? It's a tough subject to have. I personally don't like talking about it because you feel like you're no longer attractive. Like, some people say if your husband sees you give birth down there, he's not gonna wanna have sex with you anymore. That's a lie, that's a myth. And if he doesn't, like, shame on him, because you just gave life to his beautiful son and daughter. So attractiveness, that should be out of the question. I know for me, I felt like I wasn't attractive because my body didn't look a certain way. I got stretch marks. I got a little bit of flab going on. And so I didn't feel attractive, so I didn't want my husband to touch me. I didn't feel sexually inclined to do anything with him because I just felt that, I looked like a blob. My hair was like falling out. I didn't look all glam like how I look right now. I just felt like I was just average Joe. And so I know we want to portray a certain lifestyle and whatnot, but it's okay that, you don't feel like you're pretty, but don't worry, it's going to work out. Just be patient with yourself. And lastly, expectations from people through postpartum. I know motherhood is a lot, and I know people say what motherhood should look like, but again, it's your expectations of how you feel, not what other people think of you. So it's not about having the slim body or being the active mom or doing all those things around the house or whatever. Listen, cleaning, laundry, dishes, all that stuff, I was like, I'm not cleaning the bathroom this week or this month. Someone has to do it for me because I'm tired, like, and I need to sleep. So when baby sleeps, I slept. When baby got up, I got up and I fed baby. Because that was my first priority. The dishes are gonna be there, the bathroom's gonna be there, the laundry's gonna be there. So my husband helped me along the way, and he really contributed throughout the process. But that's because, you know, we built that relationship and that communication to help me out throughout the time. And so again, postpartum is one of the hardest stages, is because now the baby is here and you don't know what to do. But I find that communicating with your spouse, planning out, you know, how certain things are gonna go in terms of like, okay, babe, when he wakes up, can you feed him and then I can sleep, kind of thing. You know, my husband used to give me foot rubs, which was really nice, and rub my back. Even just as simple of me being able to just sit on the couch and watch a show. And then he would bring the, you know, the nursing pillow so I can, you know, prop up and feed the baby. It's like little stuff like that that helped to build the relationship between you two, that made you feel like you two were in it together and it wasn't just you alone. So that depression, that anxiety, that overwhelmingness that you felt that you were doing it all by yourself is not even part of the conversation, because he was also contributing by the little things of, you know, bringing you breakfast, or, you know, rubbing your feet, or like I said, bringing my nursing pillow for me, and so forth. So postpartum, it's real. Depression, it's real. Anxiety, it's real. But guess what? What's also real is that you have the resources and you have the friends and you have the support. Don't think that you're doing it on your own, because trust me, there's no man on one island, okay? Just continue to push, seek the resources that you need, and know that, again, you are a great mom, and it's okay to cry sometimes, but it's okay to smile. Thanks for watching.
Defender behind me. Defender behind me. Y'all been practicing. I won't fear. I won't